Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Tool to Play presents Still Got Game with Derek D. Smooth Nolan and Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
If you'd like to sponsor Still Got Game, email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. All right, you know what? I'm going to give you a different read for that because I do the same thing every week and it sounds the same. I could literally cut and paste that from every show. So here's a different one. Hey there, if you'd like to sponsor this show, email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. Hey now, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Still Got Game, episode 298. Still Got Game is the official podcast of tooltoplay.com. I am, as always, Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
And I'm Silky Smooth Joel, Dude I Rock Albert.
Oh, you are Silky Smooth, my friend.
Changing it up. Changing it up.
And we are back now 4 weeks in a row. It's almost like we care about the show again.
I was going to say, it's almost like we care.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yes,
it's weird.
We're reinvigorated for the show. There have been no breaks, although the holiday season is coming up. So I will warn you.
Yes, there will be breaks. Yeah.
We don't know when there are yet, but there will be some breaks coming up. But as of right now, we are 4 in a row, and that's a home run. Last I checked, 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. There's your score. That's how it's done.
You're welcome.
Yes. And since this is free, you really are welcome.
Seriously.
But we love you guys, but we do this for nothing at all. So thank you. But I guess on that, Jay, why don't we just jump right into feedback from last week's show? And remember, if any of you want to leave us a voicemail, it will cut you off after a minute. Varmin comments. I love the recurring discussion last week on the trend of shipping utterly broken games. I think D Smooth nailed it with the release date thing. Hopefully someone was listening, and maybe we'll see this change in the future. Great show. It has been super disheartening. And the funny thing is, after this outline was put together today, and I took your comment, I ended up getting an email from our friends over at CD Projekt Red, the guys that do The Witcher 3. Mm-hmm. And they had set that release date so far out, and they sent out an email today. They apologized. They're pushing their release out by 12 weeks. And they said, you know what? We said that it was going to be in February. We're pushing it out to May. And the reason is because, we want the game to be the thing that you want to buy from us. We're not going to put out some substandard piece of shit because we set some date in stone. Well, you know what? It's not in stone anymore. It's smashed. We're changing it. And I think that's the right attitude. Push release dates all you want. Any butthurtness and, pussy throbbing that comes from pushing out a release date is much less than the outcry that happens when you release a broken game. So I think that they are doing that absolutely right. And I have the highest hopes for that game, especially now. I already did. And now with this, let's make sure it's right for everybody. That's definitely the right move.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's one of those things where, and I will say the biggest thing is it is a reoccurring theme. I think we're going to continue to hear this as games get released, but it's awesome that we're seeing companies like that actually do take the time to want their game to be good. I think the biggest thing with them, and what really separates them, is they don't have as much pressure from publishers, I think, to get their game out. I think they're independent enough and I think that's really what a lot of this comes down to is they're one company that relies on this one franchise that they do really, really well, and it's their whole livelihood. Yep. I don't think that they can take that risk. And it's a calculated risk, and a lot of times we've seen it fail, and especially in the last 6 months. But I mean, that's the thing with those kind of companies. If Witcher fails for them, that's it, right? There's no studio. Exactly. It's game over, literally. So it's great to see it, but I just want to see that type of an attitude on the publisher side. And I think that's part of the conversation, discussion that me and Derek didn't really get into, which is that really a lot of this is publisher driven. It's fear of not meeting a deadline, fear of not getting your game sold so you have something for investors for that particular time. So it sucks, but I mean that sort of attitude needs to transfer over to the publishers before we can get to a good place in gaming again.
You're exactly right. It's the publishers that based on the deals they make with developers, they say, you're going to have it this date. The developer says, okay, I want your sweet money and the bonus for getting that date. That's the date we'll have it ready. And then the publisher then pushes that out to investors and says, oh yeah, this is coming out this day. And the whole system has to change for it to not be as horribly broken as today, because eventually this is going to backfire and hurt the publishers because people are no longer going to pre-order games. They're going to wait and they're going to say, hey, is it broken on day one? I'll wait a couple weeks. And it's also going to be cheaper. So it's win-win for me. So until this changes all around, it's got to be driven from the top down, not from the developer up.
Exactly.
But, all right. Well, Triple TTT Threat comments. Your show is nuts. Fucking nuts, really. Your last episode was the first I've heard of it, but will definitely be staying with you guys. Did I mention your show is absolutely fucking nuts? Now, that is the kind of comment we like to get. That is, you are like extreme. You're setting the bar high. You're just like, it's fucking nuts. Like I would have yelled for his comment because I assume that's how it was written. But when you say it's fucking nuts and then absolutely fucking nuts, I feel like these are all great compliments to us.
It's quality feedback. It's the type of feedback we need to make the show better.
Yep. And we're glad that we have you on board, Triple TTT Threat, because you're the kind of guy we like. Now, we did have one more positive piece of feedback, not quite to the excitement level as Triple TTT Threat. Ray comments, decent episode, guys. It is what it is.
Equally as good of a comment.
Decent is okay. We strive for decent. Sometimes we hit absolutely fucking nuts. It's
yeah, that's totally fine with me. I even we've said this before, but we even like it's hey, you're shitty. That's fine too.
Yeah. Any press is good press.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. But thank you for the positive comments, Triple TTT Threat and Ray. That is definitely what we're looking for. And if you could pass that kind of kind word on to your friends, let them know that it's a decent show and they could have a decent swell time.
Hey, a decent time.
At least
Who doesn't want to have a
watching.
decent time? Everyone wants to have a decent time. I think that's like everyone can agree with that.
Yeah. So yes, definitely pass it on to your friends and bring them on board too. And if any of you have feedback, give us a call, 773-527-2961, or email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. And in site-related news, we have nothing about the actual site right now, but we are have some stuff we're looking for our Twitch channel. Jay, you want to talk about our call to arms?
Sure. We're trying to get exactly the words that we're going to use. We are issuing a call to arms. We're looking for obviously people within the Tool to Play community. You don't necessarily have to be a part of the community yet, but if you would like to join the community, that would also be great. And the reason is we want more streamers on our channel. We're planning on growing the channel even more into a more team-based channel where you don't have to be a part of the Tool to Play channel, but you can be associated with Tool to Play. And so anytime you want to make your show, that's what we're kind of looking for is show type things. But gameplay is fine. But if you can keep up with a good schedule and you could say, hey guys, we're going to be there on Wednesdays. We're going to stream X, B, Y, whatever game you want to play. We want to hear from you, and we want to get you to be a part of the community. So that means the good news, if you are looking to sort of boost your channel up and you maybe want to get more followers, Tool to Play will basically directly promote you, and you'll show up on the Tool to Play channel. So any viewers that are a part of Tool to Play will be able to see your channel as well. Obviously, anyone that knows anything about our channel already knows Hitman, so he's kind of the pioneer of that in the first place. So you'll probably be seeing a lot more Hitman on our channel, which is great. But we'd like more. We'd like to get as many people as possible a part of the Older Gamers Network and get us, all together in one place to kind of talk about video games, play video games, and share our passion with one another. So yes, if you want to get involved, you can email us, you can tweet us. In fact, tweeting is probably the best, I would say, because we'll pretty much respond to you immediately. So if you want to just send us a tweet or DM or follow us, whatever, do it. And we'll get back to you as soon as humanly possible. So we're looking to start that now.
ASAP. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be game streaming. Although we would like game streaming, but if you have your own version of a gaming talk show, which is what Twitch calls these things, right, by all means, we would love to have your gaming talk show join the network as well. So regardless of the content, it's about increasing the variety and quantity of content that we provide.
Yes.
All right. Well, Jay, on that, why don't we hop on over into what we're playing? And I think I know the answer to this. For me, it's very simple. For you, it's probably Split. But Joel, Dude, I Rock Albert, what have you been playing this week?
What?
Hit is giving us a hold on, ladies and gentlemen. He's
Really?
Hit is saying we are frozen. Is that the case, chat room?
Yeah, I just got an offline.
Oh. Yes, our channel is offline.
That's weird. Did it stop streaming completely or no? Oh, you're freezing now too, Hit.
Hit is disappearing.
I think your net's fucked, bro. Well, but you're totally frozen.
All right. The chat said they lost our video. And I said that Hit shit is fucked. And we would be back in a second.
Oh, I see us frozen on.
All right.
It's still frozen. Ooh, I have a very angry looking face right now.
Yeah.
Weird.
Why is Jay frozen?
Not like
now he's moving.
Yeah, you see? Wait, it's frozen again.
No, everything's frozen because it's loading.
You had a very
no, we lost the stream again. After everybody said that we were good, you're like, let's shut it. Shut that shit down.
As long as you're still recording, I don't care.
Oh my god.
What? Oh, for your yeah, you don't want to go to Dallas. Well, at least it cut off at a pretty decent time, so.
Yeah, we can just start over what we're playing.
Yeah, what we're playing, yeah.
Our producer wasn't so fucking high.
Your blazing has... Your lack of blazing has fucked up your internet connection. Need to blaze more.
This guy's not high enough, eh? No internet's for him up here in BC, eh? Because that's where all of Canada's internet goes through British Columbia.
Well, it did for me. Well, unless you cut it, because...
No, our Skype didn't go offline, but our channel...
Yeah, but the channel died. Ah,
well, that's the important part. That's where our audience is. It's like, hey guys, we got to keep talking to each other. Yeah, that was. All right, are we back, audience?
Yeah, I think we are.
All right, picking up where we left off.
Let's do it.
And on,
we know you don't. You don't know what's going on.
Hit, just cool it, bro. For those of you who think we're stuttering or being retards here, Hit is actually talking to us over the show at this point. All right. And on that, Jay, why don't we hop on over into what we're playing? Joel, Dude, I Rock, Albert, what have you been playing this week?
So, yeah, it's a mix. I've been playing of, obviously, the new World of Warcraft came out, so I've been playing that, and a little bit of Destiny on the side. Obviously, in our next segment, you'll hear about something else that Destiny is doing. So I'll probably be playing more of Destiny in the next week.
Nice.
That's me. Yeah. What about you? What are you playing?
All I've been playing for the most part is Destiny. That is nightly, either Crucible or banging through bounties or whatever. Just keeping fresh, having a good time, doing the raid, keeping up with playing with different people. You know, increasing the amount of people I play with, which is nice. And I guess the only other thing I played this week, we had, once again, busted out the Jack Pack from Jackbox Games, played a little Fibbage, played a little bit of Drossum, Drawful, whatever. All those party games. Those are good when people are over, and it's always a good time. And I still can't recommend that enough for $25. So definitely pull that down if you're looking for some fun party game when you have people over.
For cheesy.
All right. Well, on that, we'll hop on over the new releases. And this week, there are no new releases out. So we are going to cover a DLC pack. And normally, I would never cover a DLC pack. But because it's for the game that I'm playing, it breaks all the rules.
Exactly.
So this week, obviously tomorrow, 3 a.m. in a few hours, The Dark Below comes out for Destiny, which is the first expansion pack for Destiny. That raises the level cap to 32. And brings on some new story missions and quests. And actually, the story missions are more story-driven. Like, Bungie listened. They heard people's complaints. And now there's a lot of, if you ever done an exotic bounty challenge where they're like multi-step things, it's that sort of multi-step bounties. And eventually you can end up getting sweet gear out of it. There's new weapons, armor, and gear. There's new upgrade mechanics that they've introduced to the game. We already saw some of that with the exotic shard to do your top level ship. But come Friday, Xur's going to be back and he's like, hey, with my creepy snake face, do you want to upgrade any of your exotics to the new shit? And what happens is if you pick to do that, boom, your exotic back to no internal upgrades. But instantly out of the box, it does more damage than it was doing fully upgraded prior. So it's 6 of one, half dozen the other. And each week, Xur is going to offer a whole bunch of these exotic upgrades. So you'll be able to work through all your exotics, whether it's armor or whether it's weapons. So yeah, that's how you can get yourself quickly up to 32. There's also going to be 3 new multiplayer maps added to the Crucible, which there's been some complaints about how some of the vehicle maps worked, the size of maps. So Bungie, obviously, they got all this stuff going on in the fray, and they're like, okay, let's get this map in, this map in, this map in. They busted ass to get those in there, and I feel like the coverage of the maps now is going to be a lot better.
Yeah.
And obviously the 2 big things are there's a new strike and a brand new fucking raid. And although we are all going to probably be trying the raid tomorrow, it is probably going to be very similar to when we saw the very first people do the very first raid. And it took them 18 hours. And you looked at the end and they had their death count and it was like 1,500 deaths, 1,100 deaths. It was insane. So until the mechanics of this raid are figured out, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, and I wonder about that too. It's a very interesting thing because this will be the first time where everyone, or I shouldn't say everyone, but most people that are constant raiders are already at level 30. So they're going to be starting. Everyone's going to be starting at the same relative level, at least 29. But let's assume, like, if you've even been raiding casually, like I did, I was level 30 as well. So, making that assumption, it's going to be really interesting to see how fast it takes people to actually consume this raid. I'm willing to bet that it will be finished very, very early within the first 7 hours. I could be wrong, and I would like to be wrong, but I really think that's going to be the case. And
I don't know. But the problem is there's not going to be enough information sharing between raiders because the people that instead of like it was the first time around where it was only these hardcore guys that got up to raiding level super fast, the guys with no jobs that sat around, bang their level up, pro gamers, all these high-end clans. And then when they started the raid, it was you weren't even leveled up enough to do the raid, and they were. And there was very few guys going in there and trying it. But now where everybody is, you're going to be trying it at the same time those high-end guys are. Are you going to also be watching a stream of them doing the raid on your phone or your PC at the same time? Maybe.
Well, no, but
you're going to miss out on the mechanics that are learned.
Yeah, but the problem with that is exactly what you said. Is the difference is like a lot of those pro gamers were doing it at 26. In fact, almost all of them were like 26 to maybe I think it was like 26 to like 27, and they all completed the raid at those levels, which is something that a lot of us find very, very hard to do.
That's insane now. Even thinking about that now, that's insane.
Yeah, it is nuts. And so I think because of that, at least my assumption is that you're actually going to see this be dealt with much, much quicker than before. I hope that's not the case. I like it when the raids take a long time. And obviously it puts a lot of pressure on Bungie. If we all clear the raid really, really fast, that means, everyone's going to be saying right away, so where's the new raid? Because, that's content is a very hard thing to keep up with when it comes to gamers. We tend to find ways to finish things much faster than developers intend. And they're sort of stuck then waiting for the next version to come out. And that'll be obviously the next raid. So, so I hope it's a nice, beefy, meaty, amount of content and it's not dealt with right away. But because of that level cap, I think it's actually going to be not quick, but quicker than it was at launch. At least.
And the other fun part is that if you're someone that likes the Vault of Glass, which I personally do, I enjoy the mechanics of the Vault of Glass.
Right.
Now there's going to be a level 31 version of that. So you can go through there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And bust out Vault of Glass at a new, harder level, better loot tables, all that stuff. And if it's a fight but it's going to be a lot harder than the fight So it's almost like 1.5 new raids.
Yeah. It's a really good model. It's one of the models that I think a lot of places wish they would do, like a lot of MMOs wish they had, and you're starting to see it now. But it's one of the things, like you raid a whole instance and then a new expansion comes out. And it's like, oh, well, the other instance that you never got to finish is over and it's pointless and there's no reason to do it. And it's really nice to see a little bit of carryover finally coming out of a company. Because if you've ever played Warcraft or really any other MMO, you know that once that piece of content has had its time and space, it's over. There's really
let's go run Deadmines.
Exactly. Like, said no one ever, right? Yes. So yeah, it's really going to be pretty cool to see that kind of come into play. And I'm hoping I hope this carries on throughout the rest of the game. I hope that, even on the third expansion, you could still do Vault of Glass
again.
Yeah.
I think that is going to be a guarantee at this point.
I really hope that's the case because it's an awesome model. And it's one of the things when, it's one of those pieces of things that I was wondering about. And when I saw that was the way it was going to be, I was like, wow. They're really thinking towards the future and really they want to preserve the content that they've built and not sort of just have it be a one-off thing that you only do, in this space and time. So
yeah, a lot of MMOs are either normal or heroic, and Bungie from day one was like normal, and when you pick heroic, they actually layer it up to a level number. So you right. knew when you were taking something and leveling it, like layering a different layer of heroic on it, that UI obviously can extend down the screen a lot further than it extends now, and you bring it down and just keep busting it out to newer, better stuff. So I am super pumped for that too.
Yeah, great thing. Yeah. So, yeah, super excited.
All right. Well, I guess on that, Jay, why don't we hammer this motherfucking shit into gaming news? First story!
First story, a little bit of a sad one. Ralph Baer, the father of video games, has passed away, and this is via Gamasutra. So if you don't know, Ralph Baer, which is pretty much the true pioneer of all video games, had passed away at the age of 92. So luckily, he had an extremely full life. Gamasutra confirmed this news via an independent source close to Baer. Baer developed the very first console video game system, originally known as the Brown Box, but was later licensed and sold in 1972 as 1972's Magnavox Odyssey, which laid the foundation for pretty much all video games that we even know today. So without this dude, there would be no show, there would be no Destiny, there would be no Xbox One, there would be no PlayStation 4, et cetera, et cetera. Baer, an engineer and inventor through and through, also developed the light gun in 1967, recognized as the very first peripheral for video game consoles. The interactive memory game Simon he invented in 1979, and of course, many, many other inventions. He'd been widely recognized for his achievements throughout the course of his life, such as receiving the National Medal of Technology from our favorite president, George W. Bush, and an induction into the National Inventors Hall of Fame, which I think he rightly deserved. He also received a 2008 Game Developers Choice Pioneer Award and, quote, said, "Thank you very much. I appreciate the honor, and I'm still cranking out good stuff. Goodbye." So it's a sad day, but I mean, you look at this guy's accomplishments throughout his entire life. He lived all the way to 92. A lot of people have always said, I kind of started reading some stories about him on Reddit, and everyone that really interacted with him said he was an extremely humble and nice guy and really, truly loved video games all the way up until his death. So, I mean, he's not just a video game pioneer, but really a video game enthusiast, an inventor, an engineer that was really into all things cool. So, I don't know. What do you think about this news?
Without, obviously, super sad news. Without him, Nolan Bushnell never would have pushed through Atari. This was the building blocks for that, and it was Pong building off of what came out of the Magnavox Odyssey, which is the first console that I had as a kid. It predated my birth. My dad had it, and I was born, and that was the console that was there. And it had the light gun, it had the overlays for the TV, and he really, coming from an electronics background, he really thought differently than everybody else. And he was using oscilloscopes to play games for a while. And I remember, I don't remember if it was E3 2010 or 2011. It was the one where they had that big classic game section on the show floor. And I remember him being there.
Yeah, he was there one. Yeah, that's right.
And people were talking about it. It was, I just remember he was the celebrity on the scene. Like, there's actual celebrities there, and he was the big guy because really, without him, none of us would have been there. None of us would have traveled to LA to check out a bunch of hokey video games without the guy that started it all. So he was a huge bucket of wind. Good long life. Obviously, no one ever wants to die, but living to 92, that's more than I can hope for.
Right?
With the hard living we do, Jay.
Probably not going to happen, Derek.
No, I've already come to terms with that. That I'm probably closer to the grave than I'm closer to my birth at this point. So, he definitely lived a good long life and great inspiration to people. Started a whole industry, and he will be missed.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, on equally sad news, matchmaking improved but not fixed by the latest Halo MCC patch via joystick. As promised, developer 343 Industries has issued yet another update for Halo Master Chief Collection that the studio claims will improve the shooter's compilation ongoing matchmaking problems, and there are many, but it will not fix them entirely. Awesome. Quote, please know that while this update will improve team balance issues, we do not expect it to fully resolve uneven teams, end quote. 343 writes in an update overview, which is, by the way, I will continue with this, but what a weird thing to say. Like, yeah, hey, just so you know, we're patching this. It's not really going to fix everything.
Sometimes it'll still be 1-on-6, like not even split, like more than the limit of the game type. But
it's literally like, hey, we're trying, all right? We're like a quarter way there.
This kid wrote some code in the break room, and we quickly patched it. It didn't fix everything, but now you can at least match with people.
Yeah. Quote, our next content update targeted for early next week will address team balance, end quote. So obviously in the very near future, we're going to hopefully complete this circle of updates. In the meantime, Halo the Master Chief Collection has seen a few useful tweaks. Now multiplayer games can start as soon as their minimum player requirements are met, which should hopefully result in less waiting and searching for a match. 343 Industries also claims to have fixed an issue that generated, quote, false matches, unquote, which is some of the hilarious shit that Hit tells us every time we connect, that people were going into matches that weren't even the same things that they queued up for, and being sent into matches that would never end, which is also awesome. Yep. Which is a problem the developer claims wreaked all sorts of havoc on online matchmaking. A full rundown of the changes included in the most recent update for Halo Master Chief Collection can be found, of course, at Halo Waypoint. If you'd rather scope things out firsthand, the patch will be automatically installed the next time you log on to the game. The hits keep coming. What do you think?
I haven't fired this game up since week 1.
Me neither.
And ironically, this is a game that we were all super excited for.
Yeah. I mean, even me, who was super hater on Halo for so long, I bought the game. They had a chance to literally get me back in the Halo ecosystem, and there's really no chance I'm buying Halo 5. I mean,
you don't even say it. You know you're still buying Halo 5. It's a foregone conclusion. You could say it.
But I feel like I need to finally make this. I finally have to make a stand. I did it with Call of Duty, and I feel like I have to do it now with Halo. Like, I have to say enough is enough. Like, you can't do this to me anymore. I will say this. If I do buy Halo 5, it will definitely not be day one. There's just no reason I'll buy it day one. I can't foresee that happening. But at least they're patching it. And again, we have to give them credit because their speed of patches is relatively quick. It's just that, of course, when things are broken, people don't want anything broken. They don't want you to. That's why a lot of these quotes that we're saying from them are a little ironic and kind of funny and almost backhanded, because a lot of times you're like, that's great that you fixed this one thing, but as a whole, the game is broken.
It's still fucking broken.
Yeah, it's like, if it doesn't matter if you fix all these things, when the end result is that I still have a shittier experience, it's like, it's lip service. I don't really care.
They're making the effort though, and they're
they're
doing the right thing. Like, they were supposed to release a game this week or next week. This top-down Halo something, Spartan something else for handhelds and mobile devices and all this other shit. And they were like, you know what? We're not going to put that out right now because all of our resources are going to fixing the problems you guys are having with Master Chief Collection. And at least that's it. Looks like they care, as opposed to being like, I know this game's broken, but we got this other game to tide you over. Why don't you play that? So I'm still curious as to whether we'll see the Halo 5 beta at the end of the month.
Yeah.
I know that date has been set in stone, but at this point, is it, does it do them more harm than good
It
to
does.
launch that? Yeah.
I think we kind of talked about this a little bit off camera last week, but yeah, I mean, it's like, so now they launch Halo 5 and no one's going to play Master Chief Collection anymore. I mean, there's no reason to. Everyone's going to be wanting to try that out. So maybe that's good for them. Maybe that means like no one will be playing and people will forget. And then once the beta ends, the game will be fixed.
It's fixed. Yeah, there's 7 patches while you're playing Halo 5.
Exactly.
Yes.
And now that it's 2017, you can finally play it. So let's hope that's not the case. But yes, I think we have to at least give them the credit that they are working their asses off. But, they should be.
Yep.
It's not, it's like it's like patting someone on the back for being a good father or being a good mother. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't get credit.
No one died in your watch. Good job.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good job.
Good job. The child is not dead. What do you want? A cookie? Yeah. So I mean, it's good. I mean, I'm glad it's happening, but everyone just wants the game to work. That's the bottom line. So
soon.
All right. In more non-shocking news, Rovio shutters Tampere. How do you pronounce that city, by the way? Tampere? Yeah, I think Tampere is probably more accurate. Office and lays off 100 people. So the Angry Birds developer Rovio has completed a round of layoffs that it first announced in October, cutting an estimated 110 positions and closing its office in Tampere, Finland. The company claims it had initially expected to eliminate 130 positions, or roughly 16% of its total workforce, as a part of its restructuring. But during the process, it wound up creating a number of new positions that, if filled by departing staff, will bring that total number of layoffs all the way down to a nice 110. Going forward, the responsibilities of the Tampere office will be handled by Rovio's headquarters in Espoo, which is the greatest name ever. Rovio saw its profits reduced by half in 2013 during what the company representatives described as a foundation building period.
Yes.
No one's surprised by this. I'm supposed to ask you if you're surprised by this.
No, we've talked about this now for years, that Rovio was this one-trick pony. All they did was keep cranking out the same fucking game. They reskin it with Star Wars. They reskin it with this. Granted, at one point they swapped sides and they're like, oh, it's the Angry Piggies or whatever they called the other game they came out with, which was basically the same game but flipped around the other way. But if your whole company hinges on one game, you're not a console or PC game, a AAA title, and you're just like this casual game that not even people don't even have to buy it. And for the most part, people can play what they want from it for free. You're asking for trouble.
Absolutely.
And that trouble now has found Rovio. It showed up on their front door and was like, hey, we're not paying you and you're fucking keep cranking out these same game.
When I started to hear like the valuations for some of these companies when they were really getting big, that was my initial thought was like, these are casual games. They're literally meant to be played and then forgotten. And to
played on the shitter and forgot. Yeah.
And to build an empire out of a shitter game. Like if you were ever an investor in Rovio, you're a dumb motherfucker. There is no future in casual gaming. And don't quote it as, I mean, there's no money in casual gaming, because there's billions to be made in casual gaming. But there's certainly no long-term studio that can do something really amazing with casual games. I mean, we've seen it with pretty much, Candy Crush. I mean, how many other games can you mention that they've desperately been trying to sort of rekindle whatever one game they made in some guy's basement and do it again. And even though they have gobs and gobs of money, that doesn't make a creative game. And it doesn't mean that the game that they create is going to be a smash hit, because there's one thing, and Nintendo has learned this more than anyone else in the world. Casual gamers don't give a shit about video games. They don't care about gaming. They literally do it to get from to point B. And that's why we saw such the downfall that we did with the Wii, because these were casual gamers buying into this. This was not the niche of our hardcore family of gamers that we all know. This were just fly-by-the-night people that said, oh, that looks entertaining. I'm going to buy this Wii because it's really cheap and I'm going to play it. Same thing with all these other games. They play them for a month and then they're like, okay, now I'm going to try playing tennis or something else, or go to the bar or do this, because they don't care. And so
the amount of casual games that flow in on phones is insane. And unless you have some mechanic to keep people, you're just the whore of the day. and it's wham bam, thank you, ma'am, on the next one.
Yeah, I agree. Piece of shit.
Yes,
and that's, I feel bad. You always got to feel bad. Obviously, a bunch of people lost their jobs, and it's not
that part we do feel bad for.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing, but it's an industry that's very, very green. It's new, and there's not a lot of standards set. There's not a lot of people out there that are like really leading the charge and creating awesome, masterful games on your iPhone that you continue to play. There's no Mario of the phone, and so until we kind of see that trend, don't invest your money in any of these companies. That's all I can say.
Oh, we can give these guys some advice, Jay, off the hip. If you are a guy that has a mobile company, and it's you and your 3 buddies that started this or whatever, and you create your Angry Birds, well, here's the clue. Don't fucking hire hundreds of people to make more games. Just keep, as long as you keep churning out the same shit anyway, just churn it out with your same 4 buddies. Then you don't have anybody to lay off later, and you all get a bigger piece of the pie all along the way.
This is the part I never understood.
Yeah, these guys are all of a sudden like, yeah, we hit it with this super casual game that no one pays for, and occasionally people buy some in-game purchases. Let's 20-druple the size of the company. It doesn't. No other industry would ever go from point A to point B that way. It's just not a line that you would see. So just don't do it, casual games people. Just stick with your super small development team. And either create another iteration of your same game and eventually people get tired of it, or create a different game. But don't try to create a studio around something that's casual that people play in the shitter or kids play on the bus. That is not the way to start a company.
No. And you're already in the most volatile industry in the world. Investing in video games, even AAA titles, is the dumbest move you can probably make as an investor with money. And to do it in a casual world is much more retarded.
Don't put your money anywhere in the game industry. That's
that is our new thing. Don't actually put money into gaming. Not as an investment, right? Don't ever do that.
No, you're purchasing as an end user, but no one should invest in these companies because everything is a house of cards. Like we talked about, release dates and everything else, and somebody misses the release date and the company shits, or your casual game company blows, and it doesn't matter. So none of these are investment vessels. They should be privately owned companies. None of them should be public because no one should sensibly want to invest in these guys. It just doesn't make sense.
No, it really does not.
Whew.
Sweating a little from that one.
Yes.
All right, next story. Actor sues Nintendo for heart troubles. Oh, dear God. This is via Game Politics. An actor going by the name of Parker Mills is suing Nintendo. Mills was hired to play the role of Donkey Kong during a May 24th, 2013 event at the Los Angeles Zoo to celebrate the launch of Nintendo's 3DS game, Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D. Mills' lawsuit against Nintendo was filed Monday in Los Angeles County Superior Court. According to one of his attorneys, Tyler Barnett, Mills, wearing a heavy Donkey Kong costume, was denied breaks and not provided with the required ice packs to cool him down as he talked to zoo guests in the hot LA sun. Later, he suffered an aortic dissection and had to have surgery. This is so terrible. To implant a permanent heart defibrillator. Mills' lawsuit alleges that the company ambassador who was hired to escort him and oversee his activities failed to provide the proper oversight. Of course, Nintendo, like with everything, has not publicly commented on the lawsuit. This guy had a heart attack in a suit.
I think as soon as you're doing a job where you're in a suit, you know the risks involved. Like I myself have done a child's birthday in a Barney suit many years ago for my niece at the time. And it was hot. It was sweaty. It was gross. It was not the place you want to be. And either you do it because out of love or you do it because someone's paying you. And when someone pays you for something, maybe if this guy had this many heart problems after being in the suit for this amount of time, maybe he was a little too big for the suit. Maybe stop a couple of the cheeseburgers, lay off the shit.
There's got to be some personal responsibility, right?
Yeah, maybe he had a pre-existing heart condition and just one hot day was enough to do it. Like a hot day in the suit where you get the sweat going, you're building up your heart rate. I don't know, but I just think that this is one of those frivolous things where he knows he's working for Nintendo. If he was working for some mom and pop fucking non-chain restaurant wearing a chicken suit outside and the same thing happened, this lawsuit doesn't go through.
No.
It's not worth the money to push against a mom and pop place. It's only because he was hired by Nintendo that this is even seeing the light of day in a courtroom. It's
weird, but like it's one of those things too. The guy's health actually was affected. He did have a heart attack. It doesn't say if he had a heart attack in the suit. Like it doesn't say that after 6 hours in the suit, all of a sudden he started getting chest pains and, Donkey Kong rolls over in the zoo floor and starts going into convulsions, which would be an amazing YouTube video to watch at some point. But we don't know if that happened. He could have went home and 2 weeks later he has a heart attack and he blames it on the heat from the suit from 2 months ago. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
So, Derek, what do you think about this story?
Jay, this story has me saying, what the fuck? And on that, why don't we hop on over to the mailbag and voicemails? Blue Steel asks, with the Destiny DLC just hours away, what one part of the DLC are each of you most looking forward to?
Right.
Have you been saving your encrypted engrams for a chance at the new legendary items? Are you holding on to your completed bounties so you can turn them in at the end and get new rank commendations necessary to buy the new legendary items? Are you going to upgrade any of your exotic weapons or armor on Friday? Well, this is a long-ass fucking question, Blue Steel. Obviously, as a big fan of the show and a subscriber to our Twitch channel, you would think that we would try to keep questions shorter, but since we'll throw you a bone here. So this is more like 4 questions. So obviously the raid, I think I am looking most forward to.
Yeah, raid.
All right, that part is simple.
That part's simple, yeah, raid.
All right.
Sure.
I have not been saving encrypted engrams.
Me neither.
I know Hitman has. I saw a little bit of his stream earlier tonight, and his bank is full of like the left side that holds the weapons, entirely full of engrams. The middle section that holds armor, entirely full of engrams. Now Hit's telling me that's for his third character that he hasn't started yet, but I feel like maybe it's he's banking on this shit. I don't know, but that's not my move. I would much rather have something in the now because I know I'm going to get in the later anyway. And the highest end shit we're going to get from the raid or from completing these new story mission bounties. So I don't see the need to hold on to something for the luck of the draw that now instead of like the 1 in 20 chance I get something cool, maybe it's a 3 in 60 chance I get something cool with all the new stuff. Like I don't know. It doesn't seem worth it.
No, it's one thing that's true about all MMOs, and maybe a lot of people haven't played them, so I understand. But like, you'll always get the gear. Like to rush into or to try to create this environment where you log on, you get all this gear, and you're like ready to go. If you're level 30, if you're light level 30, and you have your exotics ready to go, you're really already ready to go.
Yes.
You will have an advantage. There's absolutely no question about it, and so I'm not telling you not to do it, but if you're like really trying to hoard everything together to like be the best of the best as soon as it comes out, even if you unlock all of these items, let's say, you still have to level them all up anyway, right? So like you still don't like get the item and all of a sudden you're light level 32. You still have to go through all the shit to get it.
And you're going to have 20 different items that you're trying to level up simultaneously.
Right. It's nice to get a piece of gear, level it up, and put your shit in there and you're ready to go. But yeah, obviously the new legendaries and the new exotics are going to be better than whatever you get. But again, if you get it all right tomorrow, you still have to level it up. So there's really the motivation for me is really just to play the raid. I just want to raid. And if I do raid, I will get drops. And then if I get drops, I will level them up. So, yeah.
Now the bounties part, any bounties I do tonight after the show, I'll hesitate in turning those in tomorrow.
Sure.
Like what's the difference in 6 hours, right?
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah. So if I finish any bounties tonight, I'll hang on them till tomorrow so I can get that new rank commendations to get that other gear. And I am most definitely going to be upgrading my exotics as this goes along because I know I can upgrade my helm. I can upgrade my alt chest piece. I can upgrade a whole bunch of my exotic weapons, and instantly they all become better than what they have before. So, I think that's a no-brainer.
No-brainer. Yeah, no-brainer. It'll be nice though. It'll be nice to finally experience some new content. My biggest thing with this expansion is I hope the raid is larger than the original one. It's not to say that Vault wasn't a great raid. It was. But my biggest complaint from Vault was that it was just really, really short. I mean, most MMOs, you go into a raid, it's like 15 bosses. So I'm hoping it's bigger. And if it's not bigger, then I really hope that Bungie keeps up with this timeline. I hope every 3 months we see a raid. I don't think that's going to be the case, but it would be amazing to have new content, a new raid every 3 months. That is something that MMOs just cannot do. If you've ever played Warcraft, it's either from a 6 month to about a year in time before you get new raids. So it would be awesome to see a company do this kind of fucking metering. It would just be amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I guess it's definitely a better pace than we've seen in the MMOs we've played in the past.
Yeah, definitely.
So, all right. Well, great question, Blue Steel, and thanks for that. And Altius asks, with the PlayStation experience seeing huge attendance and a great reception over the weekend, do you think Microsoft will follow suit with something similar in the future?
I don't know. I mean,
I know Microsoft has in the past. I know that they
have. Yeah.
The year that they stopped doing Leipzig, before they changed up all the way that Eastern game shows went, Microsoft had their own event out there. I don't think it's anything new, but whether they start doing the United States or not, I think this is really lays the groundwork for showing people are interested in this sort of thing.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those things where it really just has. I think they have to have either the right product or the right timing to want to do that. To be honest, I was really surprised what Sony did, and it's awesome that they had the turnout that they did. Because when I originally heard of it, I was kind of thinking like, why? Like, I don't really see the reason. You just release your console. You're gonna have E3 in a little bit here. What was the reason?
PAX East in the spring.
PAX East and all. Me and Derek say this all the time. There's already way too many fucking things to go to. It's annoying. We're so inundated now with news, and it's funny because I guess me and Derek are part of the problem because we're doing essentially a news show for you guys. But there's just so much of it. It almost overwhelms your senses, and you're constantly, as a gamer, just waiting for the next game. It gives you very little time to focus on the game that you're currently playing. So while I don't hate what Sony's doing, I also don't think it's really needed. And I don't think that Microsoft needs to respond as if like they're going to lose out on some market share because they don't create, some party of their own.
No, but I do think that Sony capitalized on something, which is right now there's 3 PAXs. You either have East Coast, West Coast, or South. And if something's close to you, you go to it. If you're a huge mega gamer and you can afford it, you go to one or more. You go to the closest one or all of them. But if you're, let's say you're a Sony fanboy and you're not really close to any of these things, all of a sudden Sony says, hey, we're going to have our own thing. And you know what? It's going to be in Las Vegas, which is, I think that was the deal sealer, where it's now you're going to a place where there's something more than just that.
Than just the gaming. Yeah.
Yes.
That's absolutely true. I mean, Seattle brings up a good point in chat. He was actually saying that he hopes they do just because the presence at the Game Awards was pretty lackluster. And I think that's the case. I think that's kind of Microsoft's MO. Like if they do something, if they do it, it'll be on their own sort of their own schedule. And so, I mean, and again, I don't know if that's good or bad. Microsoft hasn't really been this community-driven company until the Xbox. Yep. In a weird way, the Xbox is the thing that helped Microsoft be more of an outgoing company. Before Xbox, Microsoft didn't say or do shit.
It wasn't until our friend Larry Herb was there, and he became the model for how you interface with community.
Yeah, Major Nelson really changed. He changed everything. I hope Microsoft understands how invaluable someone like Major Nelson is. He's able to interface with the community, and he's an older dude. He's like us, but he's even older than us. And yet he's still able to interface with the community, young people, old people alike. He's a good person for Microsoft to have. So, if they wanted to do an event like this, there's absolutely no question. They could easily do it. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. It's a very good question, though, for sure.
Yep. Excellent job, Altius. So thanks, Blue Steel. Thanks, Altius. And if any of you have awesome questions like them, give us a call, 773-527-2961. Email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. You can also comment in this episode's thread on the Tool to Play homepage. And sponsors! Remember, by supporting our sponsors, you help support Still Got Game. And right now, we have no sponsors. Whoa, there goes the Joel Dudai Rock Albert Slam 2 weeks in a row. So I will. I'm going to redo that line because that was impossible to cut out it last week when he just all of a sudden decides to hammer the table mid sentence. But remember, by supporting our sponsors, you help support Still Got. Oh, I saw his hand up and I thought he was going to drop it again. So, all right, third time's the charm, live audience. Remember, by supporting fuck you, Jay. Remember, by supporting our sponsors, you help support Still Got Game. And if you'd like to sponsor the show, we're looking for sponsors. So you tell us what you want to sell. We'll tell you what you're going to pay us. We'll sell it. You pay us. Boom, done. And it can be lucrative. And like I said last week, at this point, I tell you what, it's bidding for spots. We'll take three spots a week, and we'll take any dollar value that you want to give us. And Jay's saying $2. Are you saying 2 sponsors? No, $2. $2 is all he wants. So yeah, you pitch something to us, email us, podcast@tiltplay.com, and we will, it could be just like wishing your wife a happy birthday, wishing your family a Merry Christmas. I know, like right after we talk about anal fisting, like you want to be like, and by the way, Johnny wants to wish his family a very Merry Christmas, and he loves you all very, very much. And little Skippy, the puppy, too. And what you can do is you can just take that part of the show and leave out the anal fisting discussion before and whatever comes after. And all of a sudden, it makes you seem like the champ of the family. But definitely
Plus, your family's into anal fisting, and then it's like you could just do a whole spot on anal fisting if you want.
And it's a win-win, yeah.
That's win-win, yeah.
Yes. So definitely let us know, and we'll do that up for you. All right, Twitter us up. You can find everything Tool to Play related at twitter.com/Tool to Play. Everything podcast related at twitter.com/still_got_game. I, king of the internet, god of everything that's fucking holy, at twitter.com/Derek Nolan.
And of course, you can find me at twitter.com/DudeIRock.
Facebook the fuck out of us. Facebook.com/Tool to Play. Facebook.com/Derek Nolan.
Facebook.com/DudeIRock.
Nice. YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tool to Play. That is your one-stop shop for all Tool to Play's video content. So go there, subscribe, and whenever any of Tool to Play's video content shows up, especially this show, but all of our other shit that goes there too, you'll be notified. You can go there, and it's literally in one place. So, and it's on your time. It is on demand. You go there. You can go back in the archives there and look at all of our old stuff. So definitely go there and subscribe and help us out. We also have an app. It is on the iTunes App Store and your fake communist Android App Store. It is the Tool to Play app. You go there, search for Tool to Play, download the app, and that gives you all of Tool to Play's video content, and all of Tool to Play's news content is your interface right into the Tool to Play community. There's also a little button there you can call into the podcast. One fucking button. Boom. Hey, guys, it's me, Johnny. I want to know all about Destiny and what you think about it and how awesome is the new raid. And next week we'll tell you, Johnny, how that new raid is. But definitely pull down that app, and it is a work in progress, just a caveat, and we're looking for suggestions so we can make improvements to it. Also, please rate and review this podcast in iTunes. We need some 5-star ratings. 5. I said 5. Jay, how many?
7.
7. If they let you do that, 7 would be a good number, but 5 is the limit. So we need some 5-star reviews. And if you, by all means, you want to write something to go with it, these guys are gods. I love the show. This show is decent. whatever you want to put.
This show is decent. Yes, that's totally fine.
Yes, you just want to call us decent on iTunes. That's cool too. But as long as we have the 5 stars to go with it, that's all that matters. And I guess last but not least, we have this Twitch channel that you are watching us right now, live people. Twitch.tv/Tool to Play. You can follow us there, and you'll get notified whenever we go live, and which is going to be a lot more in the future, as you've heard in this show. We're going to be having all sorts of other content on the channel, but that is your one-stop shop for live video content from Tool to Play. There's so besides following us, there's also a button down there. I'm pointing around, but I don't know where it is. But there's a subscribe button, and that is the most direct way to support us. It is the way to give back for the show that you all love. So go there, subscribe, and kick a little something back. If you like the show, you feel like throwing us a bone, you can subscribe long term. You can subscribe just for 1 month. But you know what? We'd like you to do it forever and ever and ever. Right, Jay?
Goddamn right.
Yes, because that's really how you show your love, with money. Like that.
I don't know that
just
you
like
like
real
me
life
until you pay me. Yeah.
It's like, imagine if you didn't give your wife a gift for years and years and years. Like, you need to pay out sometimes. You got to pay out to get back.
That's how it works.
Yeah. It's worded differently on Twitch. They call it the subscribe button, but it's the same thing as your wife. We're like your wife, and we need a little bobble every once in a while.
You're not going to get some until we get some.
Exactly. Wow, that should be our new tagline. I like that, Jay. That's very creative off the cuff. All right, so I just want to remind you before we wrap up, and this is a little bit of new news here. The showtime is switching. So you'll be able to join us each and every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, twitch.tv/toldplay. That is what you, our live viewing audience, have messaged, tweeted, emailed, and told us is a better time for you. And you know what? It's really, it makes sense. We speculated that was a better time when Jay was in California and we were on the different time zones. It did not make sense because he would have had been doing the show secretly from a bathroom in his office.
Right.
But now that we are at least on the East Coast and the semi-East Coast, we're all home. We can do the show for you then. So once again, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, twitch.tv/toolsplay. And on that, Jay, why don't we wrap this episode up? I am Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
And I am Joel. Dude, I rock Albert.
Decent.